All right. Well, you didn't ask for this, but you're getting it anyway. It's the Bridge Command patch tier list. Let's start with some caveats. Obviously, this is just for fun. These are only my opinions. Any criticism should be taken in a spirit of friendliness, and please don't be offended if you were the designer of any of these patches that I don't like. But also, this is objective truth. Um, you know, let's take a quick talk about the different tiers. S tier is obviously legendary, beautiful, elegant design, um, iconic, jealous of anyone who wears this. A tier is obviously, I would happily put this on my arm. B tier's solid, you'd wear it. You'd wear it if you had it, if you didn't have anything better to wear. C tier, not so sure you'd be that interested in wearing. And D tier is obviously trash tier. Obviously, the only patches I'm going to be talking about today are going to be a mixture of official Bridge Command patches as well as some fan-made patches. I'm only going to be talking about the 3-inch circular arm patches, the patches that go on the left arm where the generalist patch goes. So, without further ado, let's talk about the generalist patch. Now, the generalist is a classic, a design classic. It is much coveted by new recruits. I think that it's a genius piece of experience design on the part of Bridge Command. You've got promotions and you've got medals, which are sort of given out based on particularly impressive performance at the discretion of your flight controller, and that scratches a progression itch, of uncertain progression. But the generalist patch gives new players an opportunity, something to strive for, that they can predict when they will be able to achieve it. To earn the generalist badge, and you do get to take it home with you, you have to fly a Bridge Command mission performing in each of the 4 sub-teams on the bridge, on the Havoc or the Takan Army. Those 4 sub-teams are Command, that's First Officer or Captain. Operations, that's Helm or Weapons. Engineering, that's Main Engineering, Manual Engineer or Dock and Drone Operator. Or Science, that's Nav, Comms, or of course Radar. So the 4 different sub-teams are represented here, using their iconography. So that's nice and clear. But as I say, the genius of the generalist badge is, of course, it gives you a reason to come back. I want to earn that badge. So you come back at least 4 times to earn that badge. And you'll come back with an open mind, encouraging the generalist patch encourages you to explore all the different stations, which is good because it encourages flexibility and not sort of hogging your favorite station. It encourages good behavior in terms of encouraging you to check out the other stations, so you'll be better at understanding what every other crew member is doing. So I think it's a really smart piece of experience design in terms of encouraging the right kind of behavior from the players. And it's also a great piece of marketing because, of course, you come back 4 times to earn the badge. Well, now you've earned the badge, you've got to come back at least 1 more time so you can fly a mission wearing the badge. But of course, all of this sort of experience design commentary is irrelevant. This is a design tier list and an art design tier list. The generalist patch represents the different stations. It sets a tone. It is in keeping with the universe. But it is, it is what it is. It's a solid B tier. This is the baseline really on which we'll be judging all other patches. Um, the our solid generalist patch. Everyone's proud when they earn the generalist patch, but often it's fairly quick between going from generalist patch to keep putting your eyes on some other kind of patch. So let's talk about the specialist patches. So these recently come out, and they can be these are official, but they're not issued to officers. They can be purchased. So if your favorite station is engineering and you always like being on engineering, or you show a proficiency for engineering, then perhaps you would like to buy the engineering specialist patch and wear that on your in place of the generalist. Now, I've got to say that, broadly speaking, I do not rate these specialist patches. So, spoiler alert, these are not going to appear high on my tier list as a whole. Um, so, I don't like that they depart quite so drastically from the design patterns that were established by the generalist. So let's go through them, and I'll rank each one individually. Starting with command, I think command is far and away my least favorite of the patches. I think it's ugly and boring. I also wouldn't wear a command patch. I think it's almost arrogant in my mind, or I'd be fearful. I'm not calling people who wear it arrogant, but I think I'd be fearful that people would consider me arrogant to wear it. But mostly, I just hate the design. I don't think the sort of handshake fist bump is good. I lose the command symbol over there, and I think lead by example is kind of a lame thing. So that is my D tier. That is my trash tier. Let's move on. Engineering. Engineering, I don't hate so much. I still think, let's take a closer look at engineering. I still don't rate this like very graphical, almost like comic book style. I just don't want to see that on an officer. But there is something nice. I like the OCP. I like that we've got the cog for engineering, and relative to some of these other slogans, we're on it is pretty cool. So engineering is like high C, low B. I reserve the right to change it. We'll call it low B for now. The operations one, I don't like it. It's not as insidious as the command one. Bold red is nice, but that's a C tier. Again, let's take a quick look at it just to give it a fair shake. Find a way, meh. What's this graphic doing? Wings because you fly the ship, and a fist with the target reticule in it, representing the weapons side of operations. It's kind of on the nose and obtuse at the same time. And again, I just think it's ugly. I think the colours are garish, and I don't like this sort of comic booky style design for a patch on a uniform. So for me, that's a C. Science suffers from science suffers from being a bit garish for sure. But it's got some charms. I like the eye, the sort of inner. It's about looking outside, but it's also the inner knowledge. There's some kind of cool, thoughtful symbolism there. It is still kind of ugly though. The bottom line is it's still ugly. So you know, it's not going above B tier. It's worse than engineering actually. now that I sit here and just look at them aesthetically. It is worse than engineering, but it's B tier. I might rethink this once we've got more of the patches down. I might bump it down to C. Now, the one exception to the specialist patches is the diplomacy patch, which actually doesn't obviously represent um, a sub team, and it's just much more attractive. Here are the reasons, right? I like the I like the wreaths around the edge, representing peace, right? I think the slogan is the best here because it's in Latin. It's a Latin motto, Pacem in Astra, peace in the stars, I suppose. Um, and its iconography consists of the icon for the logo for the UCN diplomatic corps. So it's drawing on established bridge command law, and that's why I would wear the diplomacy patch. Um, it's not me making it. Also, like gameplay wise, it's not me making a play for a particular station. It's just signaling to players and performers alike that I lean towards diplomacy. But also, it is just by far and away the most attractive of the specialist patches. So, welcome diplomacy patch. You go in A tier. All right. So much for all the official patches. Let's move on to the um, player made patches, and we're starting off with an absolute corker. It is Sub Lieutenant Raven's Computer Division patch. I mean, this is inspired, elegant, minimalist design. It is obviously drawing heavily on the design patterns of the generalist patch in a way that I wish the official specialist patches did. Um, it takes the cog that we saw under the engineering section of the generalist, it thins it out, makes it clearer that it's a C for computer division, and then in case you needed a little bit more understanding, then we, instead of a spanner, we've got our binary code. And that's all it needs to be. I mean, it's clear, it looks official, it adds, enriches the lore of the Bridge Command universe, and this is borne out by the fact that I see many people wearing, I believe, some of the Warspite crew wear the computer division badge, and I don't blame them because it is undoubtedly S tier design. It looks great. It does its job. It clearly communicates what it is. It's communicating something new, and it's respectful of existing design patterns. So S tier, well earned S tier, excellent work, Sub Lieutenant Raven. Okay, next patch. I have to declare a bias on, as I designed it. It's the Gobies campaign patch. Uh, I'm very proud to wear the Gobies campaign patch. I like it. There are certain elements that I will explain to you now. We have obviously Gobies name, Go Beyond, a UCN logo. We've got IRL year and UCN year on the left and right. Underneath there, we've got sort of Earth Moon symbolism and Adamus Belt symbolism. So, 2025, we're on Earth. 2181, we're in the Adamus. And then 5 small stars at the bottom to represent the 5 missions in the Bridge Command campaign. I'm biased in favour of the Gobies, but obviously it is the sort of one of the first player-made patches. I am not a designer, and it shows. The things I'd change about this is obviously the spacing here of the gobies. It's way too close. Why didn't I pull that down to be evenly spaced? The UCN logo has not come out particularly well at this size. Um, so, you know, I am proud to wear the gobies. It also sets out some design language that is carried over to some of the patches we'll be seeing in the future. Although I'm not sure we necessarily credit the gobies with that. As much as we credit the other crews with taking their inspiration and building off of it. I mean, objectively speaking, the Gobies patch is mid B tier. It's the generalist um, of the campaign patches. It's the, I suppose, the patch by which we would measure the others against. So objectively, it's mid B tier, but biased, and with my bias on my sleeve, I would put it in A tier. And I will leave it in A tier for now, but we'll reassess once we finish the assessment of the other patches. Let's move on to the Rising Tide patch. Well, everything I didn't like or regretted about the Gobies patch is basically fixed in this Rising Tide patch. Um, it doesn't really do anything new or original, but it is just professionally done. Like it does everything to a high standard. We've got a much larger UCN logo that has come out so much better on this embroidery than the UCN logo on Gobies. We've got outlining on these elements, outlining on the stars, which is, I think, is not something we see any other patch do for the 5 stars. It's carried forward the 5 stars concept from the Gobies patch, but now these stars read clearly as stars, which is massively helped by the outline. It's just like, and then we have the UCN logo here, sort of forming part of this circle. I mean, it is actually. I was gonna put Rising Tide in B tier, high B tier, but the more that I look at it, the more I like it. Like it isn't, as I say, it's not necessarily the most imaginative campaign patch, but it's basically taken the Gobies concept and just gone, what if this, but if done by an actual person with a design. I've got to bring Gobies down. Rising Tide is an A tier patch. It's workmanly. It doesn't reach the heights of S tier because I don't think it's additive, and it's nowhere near as additive in terms of the richness of the world as we get from Computer Division. But it's just really competent, capable design. Let's move on to Raising Havoc. Oh, what can I say about this patch? I mean, I love it. I love that we've got the Havoc uh, blasting off. It's a surprisingly detailed. Can we zoom in here? Surprisingly detailed Havoc for the embroidery, and it works and it reads as the Havoc, surprisingly enough. This sort of trail, rocket trail from the Havoc. Now, strictly speaking, I don't think the UCN ships have an exhaust trail like this, but I will allow some poetic license because this is a badass design. Um, it's it's spot on, I think, for a campaign patch. Like it has, it's doing some graphical representation, but nowhere near as much or as crassly as the specialist patches. but it's still still keeping some abstraction. I like that we've got the 5 stars, but in this case, they make up the star field of which the Havoc is flying over. They're not just in a line. That's a very creative choice. And then obviously we're carrying over the 2025 2181, which I'm flattered by. Um, this is a great design. This is a design by Lieutenant H, I believe. And we should not be surprised that designed by the painter of the Warspite painting in that can be seen in the Warspite mess would do such excellent work designing a patch. This is, I think, fairly uncontroversially also an S tier patch. It's badass. It kind of shits all over the gobies. Uh, I love it. I hate that I love it so much. So we're going to stop talking about it now because I'm jealous of it. Okay, 2 more to go. And these are interesting ones. Let's start with the Takanami turtles. What can I say about the Takanami turtles? The Takanami turtles tells me a lot about the character of the Takanami turtles, and that is they do what they do their own thing. This is a bold patch, especially compared to what's come before. Um, my first immediate response to this patch was that I hated it. But the Takanami turtles don't care what I think. I say do a campaign over a course of weeks. Takanami turtles say no. We're going to cram it into one weekend. Uh, no dates on here, no go beyond on here. Uh, but my God, like the boldness and the playfulness of our surfing turtle, the line work, the sort of Japanese wave that goes obviously well with Takanami, plus the little nod to the stars with the Saturn and the moons. It is very charming. We've got this sort of bubble writing for Takanami turtles, which I don't think is particularly legible. I'd have to see it in person to judge. But it does sort of kind of go with this sort of aquatic theme. I can almost imagine that writing being made out of bubbles. Um, so that is like 50-50 on the Takanami turtles writing here. Um, I think it's cute that we've got the names of the crew. I think that's really nice for them as a souvenir for the crew. But I worry it does make the edge quite busy because we've just got constant text. And my main concern here is around yeah. What about campaign two? What if one of these people has to drop from the crew? You're gonna have to do a whole new patch, which may not be such a bad thing, but it would be a shame. Um, but all in all, this is a bold, going our own way design. It's really cute and sort of elegant, and I think I'm really excited to see it on someone's arm. Um, I like it a lot. This was designed by, I believe, this was designed by Lieutenant Commander Dennis, Megan Dennis, and hats off. I mean, the I've got a few small criticisms that I've already made, which stop it. This could have been an S tier, but I think I do have some criticism, so I am going to have to put it there at the top of the A for now. Um, yeah, and then lastly, we've got this one is funny. Riddings Riders. It is uncanny how unmistakably that is Lieutenant Commander Ben Ridding on that patch. I can't even put my fingers on well, it's the moustache and the hat, of course, but it is remarkable how effective that is at communicating um, its intent. This design is, I believe, based on concept from Lieutenant Blue and a final design by Lieutenant Mike Overton, who also designed, I should say, designed the Rising Tide patch as well. So you can see, like Mike is a professional designer. It comes through here. We've got texture on the moustache. Um, yeah, I mean, it's too silly for my taste, I think, but it executes what it's trying to do very effectively. Um, it's striking, it's funny, it's fun. It's another A tier. There's no denying that. Let's put it just after the Turtles on A tier. Um, and yeah, that is my tier list. I think I'm going to notch down the science. The more I look at the science, the more I hate it. I think this gives a slightly more balanced tier list. There we go. That's the Bridge Command patch tier list. If you disagree with me, we can argue about it on the Discord. Um, and if you want to see more content like this, then I suggest that you seek professional help.